When you are in the product specialist role, you know what each team does. And then you can make an informed choice.
This is the building block or the foundation of the entire company.
I can very confidently say that PriceLabs is the leading solution when it comes to dynamic pricing software for the short-term rental industry. We have a lot of competitors, but today PriceLabs is definitely dominating. And that is because we, as a team, from the top, like founders to everybody else in the team, really listen to what customers have to say.
Once you get into the product specialist role, it is, responding to customers, right? Maybe answering billing related questions, etc., etc. But once you move ahead in the path, you start working on those complicated tickets, right? Where you get more into revenue management and more into a strategic role.
We are not doing support. We are solving much bigger problem. Every query that comes from the user is a new query. And sure, we might have like 10 features, but 100 different people will have 100 different customizations and combinations of what they are doing.
So with this role, you can transition into multiple roles within PriceLabs, maybe into a solution consultant role, maybe into a product related role.
So I stayed in the product specialist role for at least 2.5 years. At that time, I was team lead for the product specialist. I approached my manager to see if there are any other openings. I was offered 2-3 options, and I chose product because, as a product specialist, I was very comfortable with the product.
I think because it's a global product, it's also a very good way to understand and interact with a global audience, both internally and externally. So we have customers in 100 plus countries maybe now. So to have global exposure at such an early stage in our careers, that's a big plus.
Yeah, you get to know many culture. Everyone is different. Everyone has a story to tell.
You would meet and you will work with extremely smart people.
I don't think it ever feels like, I'm talking to my manager or I'm talking to a founder. Everyone seems like super friendly.
If I talk about my overall corporate experience over the last 8 years, I would say this is like one of those companies which has the best culture, I would say.
Previously, I was doing a sales job in a company that was dealing with public funding.
Before PriceLabs, I was in the finance domain. While going through LinkedIn, I was searching for jobs and everything to try to make a switch. Then I saw PriceLabs.
At first, I was kind of skeptical. It sounded too good to be true. I was checking the opinions on the internet and they were just overwhelmingly positive. So I was like, oh, maybe it's a scam. I don't know. But yeah, it turned out to be a great decision. There's always something new that you can learn.
So being in the finance role, the client interaction is a little bit less. And after joining this PriceLabs, I'm going on calls with users, understanding the perspective, reducing the load of their workflow. So this is something I picked up being an introvert, something that PriceLabs has helped me.
When I applied for this role, I think the main reason was that it is remote. I was referred by a colleague who was already in PriceLabs, and I used to see his Instagram stories that he is working from mountains or maybe, from beachside. And I was like very curious, like, how do you do this, man?
Since this is a remote role, right? It is up to you to see how far you can go when it comes to growing, not just with the product specialist team, with the whole PriceLabs team. We are very open to whenever someone wants to explore something.
So when I joined, I was just 3 months into PriceLab. And 3 months into PriceLabs, you mean 1 month is almost your trainings and your team trainings, etc. And then I came up with the idea. I found a pain point. I put it in front of, my manager, and she told me, okay, you can also reach out to the other folks, there is a person from DS who is working on this. There is a product manager under whose this project is going on. I fortunately reached out to them and all of them were so supporting. They told me, okay, we are with you in this. Let's do this. This is an amazing idea. So imagine a person who was 3 months into the company comes up with a pain point, discusses with the OGs, and they are very readily helping you and building something, and that is now in the product. Now I can proudly say that, this particular tool of PriceLabs wasn't my idea. So that feels amazing.
You get to see how far you've come. Like looking back 3 years ago, for example, I was so shaken and I was so scared doing account reviews. But now it's so easy to understand whatever is happening in a listing or in a user's portfolio.
It's very easy to understand the product when you know a little bit about statistics. So it's all about data. It's all about how prices are generated, right? Obviously, you need to be tech savvy. You need to be understandable, and you need to be very empathetic, and you need to be polite because, well, since it's all about revenue at the end, so it's a very sensitive topic, so you really need to be on your tippy toes.
So sometimes you will encounter like challenging customers that might test your experience, your capabilities, right? But with PriceLabs, they always make me feel that we are in this together. They always make me feel like protected or treasured.
There was one instance where I have provided like a wrong information to the customer and they've got agitated because of that. I was like a 3 months old employee at the company, and that's when I saw the founders, the Richie, stepped in and explained this is what you should have done. So it is a mistake that we did completely as a team, not you're an individual, but you should learn from it. Failure is not completely a downfall for you, but it is like a stepping stone for you to, build your career.
It feels very safe to work here. No one has ever told me how I should be working, even in a role which is this new for me, and I come with no official knowledge of this. I was told about the best practices. I was told that help is available, but nobody is coming and telling me that this is the right way, and that lets me find out what is the right way.
People give you freedom to do your best work. There is no one actually, being behind your back, checking what you're doing. They trust in you, and I think that helps people be or do their best because they have that freedom. They have, the comfort to show what they can do.